I automatically assumed it was James Kennedy, as I think everybody else did. And sure enough, it turned out to be right. Um, but that was pure conjecture. Yeah, I don't know. I think that, I think that James thinks that they were hooking up even before the breakup between James and Rachel. That's what I think. That's what I think was happening. I don't know. Like, I could be wrong. I'm more likely I'm wrong. But I just like, you look at things, you look back in time, and you're like, oh wait, why would I trust you, especially after like doing what he did, for 7 months, 8 months. So since Coachella of 2022, that
So you,
Dumois post.
you think maybe that Raquel was hooking up, or Rachel, as you call her, when everyone else calls her, was hooking up with Tom, maybe while she was still with James.
I mean, yeah. I mean, and I think that's why James is all like, wait, you know what I mean? You start looking back on things, and I didn't know the relationship between Rachel and James, right? But I mean, was there ever like a moment? If you look at the way that James has responded to this whole thing, was there ever like a moment where he was like looking at him like, what the fuck's going on over here? And then of course Tom paying for some of the engagement party or whatever he paid for. You just kind of like start thinking about things a little bit. That's all I'm saying. And I guess that's why James Kennedy's so upset. You know, because this is a guy who he was really really good friends with. All of a sudden, you find out that he's hooking up with your ex. It's different. Like, for instance, it's different with me. You know what I mean? When I went up to James, I was all like, I'm taking Rachel out, or Raquel. You see it in the show. I'm taking Raquel out. He's like, you know what? Have fun. You know what I mean? I don't know what he said in the interviews because I didn't watch the whole thing. But yeah, he was like, all right, cool, whatever. But I was not like in their lives while they were together. I was just kind of like, oh, okay, cool. James and Raquel, awesome, whatever. And then when they broke up, I was all like, that is a long story in and of itself because it was like that kind of bloomed out of Reddit or something. I can't. That's another story for another time. I'll probably put it in a book or something. But yeah.
And you think Lala, you don't speak back to LVP no matter what.
I don't speak back to her. I love LVP. I love Lisa. So
I think
that's my
Lala
position on Lisa. Love her.
I was a little shocked. I think because of the Randall and like Lisa was kind of like, you can't say that. I think Lala got, I'm not taking sides. I think she was so upset of just like, Lisa, you don't know what you're talking about with what I've been through with Randall.
Okay. I mean, like that's something you see, and this is what I get at with everything. The reason why I'm so involved in this is because I was directly involved. I was always content to be Peter's manager and having a drink at the bar and having a good time, and that's it. You know what I mean? But because I feel like I was directly involved in this whole thing, I have to address it, especially after she called me a starter pony. But as far as the Randall Lala situation, I always knew Randall was like, I had a meeting with him once to pitch some ideas, and he was like making himself sound bigger than he was, and I was like, all right, well, help me get like a TV or movie deal, and nothing ever came to fruition from that. So I was like, well, either this guy doesn't like me very much, or he's a fraud. It turns out he was a fraud. But as far as their relationship goes, I mean, I have no idea because I was not directly involved in it. I'm not going to get involved in the relationship between Lala and Randall. I do know that he was a scumbag, and then once that thing dropped, the article from LA Times, well, there you go. There's not much more that you could say, I mean,
Peter,
come on.
Do you think that Tom Sandoval is dangerous? I mean, do you think, even though Lala shouldn't have
do I think Tom Sandoval is I don't think he's a danger to me. I mean, no, I don't think so. I mean, he did he made a brutal mistake. I'll never try. Like, I don't trust that guy. But do I think he's dangerous? In what way? Like, do you think he's going to come and punch me? I mean, like, there's not going to be. Don't do that.
Well, she's saying he's a maniacal, narcissistic cheater who, basically coerces. This is what they're all saying, kind of, that Sandoval really has Schwartzy under his thumb, has convinced Raquel to come along with his story? I mean, she's saying he's dangerous in the way that he is a serial cheater.
So he's a manipulator.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, okay. So as long as you know that he's dangerous in a manipulative kind of way, and that makes people look at him like, okay, well, I got to be careful with this guy. You know, that's one way to put it. But when someone says danger to me, that's like, should they be in jail? You know, that's what comes up in my mind. You know, I mean, if he's just kind of like going through his life doing his thing, you know, it's like, yeah, well, if he's like that, you know, you stay away. You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. You know, danger. That's something else entirely. You know, will I ever trust him again? No. Will I confide in him? No, absolutely not.
Do you see him at all? Like, when did you last talk to Tom Sandoval?
Months and months ago, almost half a year ago. Yeah, with that whole text message thing when I've mentioned before when I was in Tampa.
They also like booed, like they were booing James and Lala. Everyone was booing him and Schwartz. Like, do you think this is well deserved, or do you think like your friends have gone too far? Like it was too much of a gang up on just one or two people?
I think, well, I do. I mean, like after everything that's transpired, I do think it's well deserved. I mean, it's like I've said it before in the past. I've gone through my own fair share of breakups. If I see something not working, that's why I guess I haven't been in a long-term relationship like 9 years. If I don't see something working, we either got to fix it or move on. I just recently got out of a relationship last year, you know, and that was a whole, you know, another thing. But you know, you have to step up to the plate and break up if you don't see it going anywhere. That's basically my issue. You know, that's where I see that's my problem with this whole situation, was that he didn't step up to the plate and say, you know what, I can't do this anymore. You know, our goals are not aligned. We got to break up, you know. But then again, I would have done that 5 years ago. You know, big difference. So, yeah.
Yeah. Do you think, Ariana, you know, what did you think about her reaction last night? I mean, she's had unbelievable success, which I know doesn't replace the emotional aspect of it. But do you think she handled herself well in part one of the reunion?
I think so. I didn't really see the whole thing, but I think she did. I mean, I know she would have had, if I know that woman and I know her pretty well. Yeah, I think that she would have handled herself very well.
Do you think at this point, though, she should be like thanking Sandoval? I mean, last night she and Katie said they've made $200,000 in merchandise and their sandwich shop hasn't even opened. I mean, she's getting
congratulations
endorsement deals. I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah. Have you yourself shot? I mean, I'd be shooting Tom Sandoval a message like, thanks, man. I mean, I'm getting a huge Weight Watchers endorsement.
Yeah, that's true.
Thanking him.
Yeah, you know, thank you, Tom. Thank you so much. There you go. There's your thank you. You know, I mean, it's not like I'm not, you know, doing my own thing. I mean, like I've said before, I am a realist. I do real estate as well, and then I'm looking at acquiring